Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome once again to your favorite podcast.
It's the No Class Podcast.
With your host, Eddie.
And Matt.
Well, it's been a bit since we've podcasted.
Whew.
Life just keeps rolling along.
Yeah, like tornadoes and shit.
Yeah. So that one is directed at me because right where we're sitting at, and actually we would have been podcasting when it happened last time.
Yeah.
We had a tree crash down in my backyard.
It's a mother.
So it scraped the back of my house, but it did not actually land in the house, unlike some of my other neighbors.
They had full penetration.
Exactly. So I think my neighbor across the way actually said it was a bathroom and a bedroom that got hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just had water pouring in.
Yeah, that God bless him. I know driving to lunch and back, we saw numerous houses that had tarps over their roofs, garages.
What I liked was the trees that are completely uprooted.
Yeah. There's a lot of that.
So, moving along, we haven't had a podcast since Red River RPG Con to fill you guys in on that.
Yeah, Red River was a lot of fun. I think everybody had a good time that attended. The few.
You know, I would probably say, out of all the cons that we've held and hosted, that was probably the best overall experience for me.
What?
I had a good time. Maybe I'm getting used to riding the table.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there was so much crap in the beginning that everything was gold after that.
Yeah, kind of set the bar. And honestly, you weren't running in every slot.
Exactly. That's made a huge difference.
Yeah, it's like all the time we talk about we take a page from Mike and Doug who do NTRPG, which is coming up. We're excited for that.
In the second weekend of June, I think it is. The first Thursday.
Yeah. And so we always know it's like, those guys never run games. Yeah, they're busy running a damn con, and that's enough mischief right there.
When we first started, we really had to put it on our back, though, where it's like, we're going to do the thing, and we're going to run in every slot. Hooray.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love to run games. I can't speak for Eddie, but I really enjoy running games.
Don't speak for me.
But, yeah, definitely a whole weekend of just nonstop running games. It's kind of exhausting.
For sure. And riding the table, being the administrative part of this or whatever, there's stuff going on even with a con as little as ours.
Yeah, I mean, there's putting out fires here and there. Absolutely. And especially when you run such a high energy game like I do.
I wouldn't know about that, luckily. I try to keep mine as laid back as possible.
Right on.
Maybe you can catch a little nap in there.
NapCon 2019.
You never know. So let me rephrase it back to this. The last time we did this, it was very much a mystery of what would happen with Red River RPG going forward. And if we got enough support, it would continue on. And if it did not get enough support, it would die on the vine. So you want to fill us in, Matt?
Well, yes. As you pointed out so astutely before, Red River, its page on Facebook, has more likes than LongCon does. But yet it doesn't have but 1/2 to 1/3 the attendance. Our vendors did well. Our players had fun. Our GMs had fun. But just a low response turnout, along with other factors, is we have decided there will not be any more Red River RPG Con. We will now be doing a second Long Con instead.
Which will be known as the Long Con Spring Roll.
No.
It will be known as Long Con Spring until we get a better name.
Think a better name. By all means, send those names in, those ideas. Well, I'm sure there's something very creative will come from Robert. You know.
Now, speaking of spring, I like to spring things on Matt while we're doing the podcast.
Keep it fresh.
So one of the things is, if we're doing 2 cons a year in the same location, how do we make it different? Board games.
Board games. That's it. Yeah.
It's something to think about that maybe Long Con Spring will include. No promises made. But maybe we'll put in the board game thing or something so that there's some little bit of difference.
And the 5 of you that listen, by all means, sound off. Tell us if you have some great ideas, how we can differentiate the 2 cons, something interesting. There's no bad ideas.
There's no stupid ideas, just stupid people.
Right on.
So back to Red River. We didn't want to go too far into specifics on it, bog you down with the details, but just for your information, official numbers sort of thing. The last long con, our official numbers were 100,
We had to turn people away
and our
because of the
last
venue.
Red River Con, our official number of pre-sales was about 50.
We actually sold more than people attended. So I mean, we sold some tickets, but as far as actual attendees, between illness or Aunt Tilly got the gout, the well ran dry, the dam broke, whatever, we only had 50-ish people
Yeah,
attend.
because out of those 50, I would say probably 10 people had contacted us and said, can't make it because of X.
Yeah, and but for the folks that did show, they were exuberant. We had a good time, and we appreciate them. They're the ones that wanted to endorse a con in the Shreveport-Bossier area.
So maybe one of the questions you're asking yourself is, why is there still two cons? Is there a demand for two cons?
Well, that remains to be seen.
We got asked by so many people not to end Red River, though.
Yeah,
And we said, we can keep it going, but we may not keep it going here. And that didn't seem to be a problem.
yeah.
People really wanted an April time con as well.
Yeah, I mean, there were some people that were definitely, grabbed us by the lapels and said, "You've got to keep doing this." And it like, well, yeah,
Yeah, I hate to say there were almost people on the verge of tears talking to us, but
yeah,
that's really how it was.
yeah. But I mean, for those, I mean, probably people listening to this understand it. But for anybody that doesn't, cons are just a lot of fun. And I guess it's one of those things until you've went to one and done it, you just don't know it. But they're just a ton of fun.
Yeah, and I'm always proud when somebody comes up and says, this was my first con and it was great.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I'll toot that horn. Like our very first con, Eddie did a lot of work. And we had a couple of guys that had been to a lot of gaming conventions that were astonished that this was our first con. But that's one of those things that Eddie's a perfectionist, and I might have a touch of that. And we want it to go smooth. We want it to be right. We want everybody to have a good time. We want it to be stress free, and so we take on all the stress so you don't have to.
Yeah, you could say that one for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Red River, we had fun and we love everybody, but just for a lot of different factors, like that location, what a debacle. Do we want to let them in?
Yeah, I would get specific about that.
Oh, so I got to lead out with this one.
Well, maybe not specific, but the short version of the story is what I mean.
Well, I wouldn't know what a short story is, but we got there and we're unpacking, and Eddie kind of heads in first, and the guy that, I don't know, owner, operator, is in the venue space with his guys, and they're hastily putting things together because I think they completely forgot us. Okay, strike one. And I'm going to get an armload of stuff, and Eddie comes blazing out. He's like, hey, this guy's trying to bamboozle us on the space and the price. And so we put our heads together, and I dispatched Eddie to go to this other nearby hotel to see if we could acquire space there. We were scrambling, and I went in there and had a rather passionate discussion with this gentleman about, fair play and our contract or whatever, and he saw the light. And so there was that. So, I mean, right off the bat, we're having to fight with these people.
That was awful. That was the, I guess, worst con experience we've had so far.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, there were things like there was no woman's bathroom. I mean, for our beloved female con attendees had to literally go a country mile to use a bathroom. The restaurant, people got like salads with
Raw chicken.
raw chicken. I mean, just one thing after another. And so, God bless. Yeah, we knew that venue space was not going to be viable for,
Never again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because I think at Red River 1, we had it in the same spot. For Red River 1, it was fine, but over that year, it had really deteriorated a lot, even the event space.
Yeah, I have really bad allergies, and the mildew in there was, you could smell it. I mean, it was, and my eyes were burning all weekend long. Anyway, yeah, that place is just, it's bad. And God bless, we begged people, we threatened, we warned, we cajoled, we posted over and over, don't get rooms there. And of course, people got rooms there and then came to us with horror stories of how bad the rooms were. And we're like, well, yeah,
There was always something awful going on with the
Yeah.
hotel itself the whole time. Every time I would have to go up to the desk and try and talk to them about something, there'd be some other customer in line that was complaining about something that you're like, any other hotel in the world, this would not happen, and you'd get completely comped or something like that. They'd be terrified and horrified that this had happened, but not these guys. That was par for the course, and they were still charging people.
They were rather blasé about it. Like,
Oh yeah,
you
they
know.
knew. They knew that's how they made their money. I think they kind of hope for cancellations. Like you'll come up and you'll see the room, and you'll cancel out your reservation, but we've already got you for the one night, so we won.
Yeah, there were people that tried to come back and cancel the reservations. They're like, nope, we don't allow cancellations or won't honor them. Really, class act. Um,
Yeah, while we're spreading the gossip here, the female bathroom, we had heard that that was one of the employees there that was a disgruntled employee and destroyed that bathroom on the way out.
destroyed it. I mean, did thousands of dollars worth of damage. But like, we had to pull our own trash. We only got water one time.
Until we started doing that.
Doing that ourselves. And like I said, we had to go find the ice and water, and boy, what an insight going into that kitchen. It disturbs me that they serve food out of that kitchen. I don't want to go into details, but yeah. Anyway, I'm just glad that Nick, all our con attendees didn't come back later on the internet and go, we all got, explosive diarrhea. you know.
I don't think that there were many people eating at that restaurant, luckily, though.
Yeah, but I mean, just, I don't know.
Well, that kind of also brings up we had a food vendor,
Yeah, absolutely. And that,
which was Shreveport shaved ice.
yeah, and that was fun. They were good.
Yeah, that was a good time.
I liked it. Anyway,
Uh-oh.
well, just I drank so many of those Blue Oceans.
That you left a blue ocean behind.
It's pretty much it had certain ill effects, a little too much blue dye in the system. But anyway, but no, it was good. We enjoyed it. I mean, like I said, we had a good time. It wasn't about like the venue sucked. Or like, yeah, the ceiling in the hallway collapsed and water was leaking out of it. And I mean, just.
We were lucky. We got lucky on this
But
one
I think
that we avoided.
the attendees had fun, and they kind of looked past the rough edges of that sort of thing. As far as the con part of it, we had, like I said, we sold a lot of fun stuff. People were generous with the raffle. Because the raffle is about helping us offset our costs. So, I mean, people saw the big picture.
Did you say something about Herman Miller?
Oh, yeah, Herman Miller, who we just love Herman. He's a great guy. He won the big prize. He got the big dragon. Man, he did a little jig when he won that dragon. He was so excited. Look on it like a kid at Christmas.
But I'll have to make a tag for this when I post this on our Facebook or whatever and say, hey, why don't you put up a picture of that once it's painted?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because our good friend at Dragon Slayer Miniatures, he does great painting,
And he didn't even pay for that plug.
He didn't yet.
He will in the long run.
He better. But anyway, so I guess next thing is coming up here in about 23 days. Is it 16 days? I don't know. NTRPG, North Texas RPG Con over in Dallas.
Which, as I always say, if you can go to just one con this year,
Go to Long Con.
go to NTRPG. If you can go to two,
Yeah.
then come to Long Con.
But in all seriousness, this will be our 7th, 8th year.
They're on 11, so
Yeah.
I think maybe it's
7,
8.
8. But yeah, we've been to quite a few of their cons. It's a lot of fun. It's a good time. Doug and Mike put on a great con. That's who that's been an inspiration for us. And always a good time. Fun con. Look forward to it.
Yeah, that's definitely what these cons spun out of.
Oh, yeah.
I like to think of us as their little bastard children, even if they don't.
Yeah, if for any reason you wanted to thank somebody for what we're doing beyond us, thank them. They
Yeah, but
inspired
thank us first.
Yes, definitely. Come and give us a firm handshake.
But
Buy
the
me a
plug
drink.
that I'll give NTRPG is they have all the special guests, so we don't have to.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The first time we went, that's really what drew us in. Was like, oh my gosh, we'll get to meet all these people that I played these role playing games they wrote when I was a kid, and
Or the terrific art.
oh yeah, that too, and just so inspiring. And to meet them and shake their hands and thank them for their contributions to gaming and to a lot of fun in my lifetime was awesome. But once you do that once, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. but it's fun taking a lot of the stuff I have and having them sign it. You know,
Hmm.
I got to meet Jim Ward. Thank goodness. Well, we got to play games with him in Lake Geneva, and I'm glad we got to play with Ernie. You know,
Which that also spun out of NTRPG and us going and
yeah,
making buds.
yeah. Doug was really generous and invited us on that trip, and glad he did. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yep. Where do we go now?
What's the minute count here?
We're still good on that. The other thing I was going to talk about with Red River,
Mm-hmm.
without going too far inside, is that there almost was a Red River 3 or a Red River offshoot. We almost handed off the title.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, um, this is just what we do for you guys because we love you so much that there could have been yet another RPG Con, but after they had thought about it, that was something they didn't want to take. And I think probably for us, that's a little bit better. Instead of trying to put three into the schedule and then
Yeah.
seeing if they had got the support to turn out from Shreveport as well.
I mean, if they had picked it up and they turned into this amazing success, I would have been happy because that's another con close by that I can attend and support, and have a lot of fun, whatever. But I just, for whatever reason, the chemistry's not right for Shreveport Bossier. I think to support a gaming con. I'll say it that way tactfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. It's kind of like obvious for us to say, well, what could you do different that would make somebody jump in? We did everything there was to do. I mean, if you just had unlimited money to pour on it, yeah, you could make something happen, I think. But
If you want to lose substantial amounts of money,
exactly.
but
If you just had money to throw away,
yeah, but that would be it.
yeah.
And no offense, but why would you throw a bunch of money away on people that don't seem to appreciate it?
Oh my.
Yeah. Oh, did I say that?
But just keep in mind, dear listener, that's not you. If you're listening
If
to
you're
this,
listening, you're not part of the problem. You're part of the solution.
and we'll be happy to see you at our 2 long cons a year.
Absolutely. And I won't lie. I am so excited for Long Con 3. It's gotten bigger and better and bolder every time, and that's because of you. And I'm just really excited. We're in some new digs that are really amazing. I cannot say enough good things about these
It's going to be
digs.
night and day compared to Red River. If you came out to Red River and saw the lowest of the lows for hotels, we're getting to the highest of the highs with the Hilton here.
This is put your pinky out stuff. It's swanky.
And I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast already, but we're talking about a specific custom food menu and drink menu.
Yeah, it'll be neat, and we'll have someone like coming to the table to take an order and delivering food, that sort of thing, which will be nice. A dedicated serving person,
Yeah.
which is great, and like a menu of sorts. Plus, well, that's the thing is for lunch. Now for dinner, they have a restaurant that has, and they've got this guy's like a 5-star chef. I mean, it's really good food.
And a full bar, right?
A full bar. I mean, and a really cool pool that has an indoor that has like a waterfall and a lazy river. I mean,
A
it's
lazy river.
a lazy river. Now, I mean, no one in this camp's lazy, but we can appreciate a lazy river.
Yeah, I've actually told a few people about that, and they're like, "What?"
There are people that actually will rent rooms because it's not like Longview has a water park, but they'll get a room for the hotel, take their kids to the indoor pool because you can enjoy that in the cold of winter, the heat of summer. I mean, it's indoor. That's awesome. And they have a nice gym too. Anyway, sound like I'm trying to sell the Hilton Garden Inn and Suites.
And what's that address again?
Well, it's on Hawkins Parkway, right there by the Sonic, on the corner of 4th and Hawkins.
With the friendliest staff around.
No, really, I know a lot of those people, and they're just amazing individuals. And like I said, that's why half the reason I'm so excited. We're going to have ample room for a lot of vendors, and
Oh yeah.
I think we're going to have a lot of the people you've already seen that were great, and then maybe some new blood. That'll be cool. And man, yeah, when I went to the Dragon's Lair in Shreveport just yesterday, someone came up to me and was astonished. They said, "Good Lord, at the sheer number of games that have already been posted and the variety of games." And I said, "Yeah, I know, it's awesome, and there's more coming."
For some reason, Long Con 3 has caught fire.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what it needed to hit that point
we've hit that breakover point.
because as we've always said, the best advertising we can get is word of mouth. You tell somebody, they tell somebody. That's how it really builds. We could do all these Facebook ads. We can throw posters up that people don't look at. You telling a friend is what's all about. And so the word's out now.
Oh yeah, and like I've always said, like if that one guy will show up and or gal head back to their game table and oh man, this con is so cool, and help people understand what makes con special. That's when more people from that table, come. Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the things that always turned us on about cons was it's a chance to get to play with your GM, because somebody in your group is always having a run and you never get to play with that person on the table. This is your chance to relax and let somebody else run the game.
Yeah, I've encouraged those guys who are chronic GMs, like, hey, don't sign up to run one game, just come play. But don't get me wrong, I love when people want to run a game here and there.
For sure, if nobody ran a game, we couldn't do the con.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. But definitely, like, we're cutting back, but we're still running games because
we want to.
We want to, yeah, but not just in every slot. That's why Robert Kilsey is a beast, man. That guy is a game running machine. His games are well received. He runs a really good game. They're good adventures, and for anybody that's played in his games, they're a lot of fun. But he tells me that he's going to he's got all new games this year. So if you're like, well, I've played his games, they're fun, but it's played out. He's going to have all new material. So that's pretty cool. He just runs a great game. We got a lot of good game masters. Don't get me wrong. James Ward runs a really good Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of our ones that run just a ton of games. TJ Robichaud.
And Robert Ojeda. He runs interesting stuff, like stuff that's kind of off the beaten path, like Kids on Bikes.
Which is what I like about cons, is something other than D&D.
Masks. Yeah, I not sound like a broken record, but I always tell people, go outside your comfort zone, play something different. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You might find you have a new favorite. You know?
To me, it's kind of like going to the con is like going to the foreign country and then having McDonald's. Yeah, if you just play D&D.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, why don't you embrace the different and the strange here, the stuff that you're not going to find, because you're always going to find a game of D&D.
That's a brilliant analogy. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm pretty brilliant.
Well,
and humble.
You have your moments. But anyway. But yeah, try something different. Try something new. Run a game, whatever. Some people are like, oh, I don't know if I could run it. Dude, people are so receptive. They're just tickled. Run a game. Absolutely. Of whatever, But yeah, but there's going to be a really good variety of games.
Well, piggybacking off of that, our GMs aren't just doing this for a free room or a free trip to Gen Con sort of thing. Our GMs also paid and are badge holders just like you.
Yeah.
So they're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah. Give them your love.
So I haven't heard anything about, that GM was just, phoning it in like you hear at some of the bigger cons.
No, I've never heard anybody have anything negative.
Well, that's the other thing. Like you said, just run a game, because I haven't heard anything negative about any of the GMs either.
Now, I mean, not to be petty or tacky, but it's like I've heard about people at Gen Con, like the big cons, where some guy will show up late, leave early, was hungover, don't be that person, because I'm not bashful. We're going to have a talk if you do that. But other than that, I mean, that's, as you can see, that's obvious crappiness. But no, if you're just having a little bit of nerves, you're skittish or whatever, man, people are cool. People will appreciate you running, and they're gonna give you a certain amount of leeway. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. And while we're talking about some of our power GMs and Dungeons and Dragons, we've got Laurel and Story, who will be running a bunch of Adventures League.
Adventures League is a lot of fun. If that's
we'll be doing another interactive.
Really, there's going to be another epic?
Yeah, there'll be maybe two.
Two? That's insane.
But if there's only one, you'll probably get the other one at Long Con Spring.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah, but we do need to find a way to give them their own separate little twists.
Absolutely. Well, it'd be neat if they could have their own. We could have our own thing, like it's Long Con written, unique.
That's somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
Because the first one that springs to mind for me is Game Hole Publishing.
Yeah.
Another fine convention.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about dusting off, like if I do a pickup game or an off schedule, like dusting off like Caverns of the Dead God, something I haven't run in a long time.
Yeah.
Be fun. Because, because if I'm going to be involved, there's going to be DCC, MCC, Crawling Under a Broken Moon.
Dark Trails?
Dark Trails. Oh, yeah. They're really exciting. Those rules are being kickstarted soon. And it's fun. It's Weird West. It's like Cthulhu meets spaghetti westerns. And I'm looking forward to, there's already a number of written adventures for that. In fact, we're going to be playing with David Beatty of Dark Trails at NTRPG. We're playing Blood and the Whiskey.
That is something I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, me too. It'll be fun. Plus, we don't get that many chances to game together. So
Exactly.
yeah, that'll be nice. You know what? If we can, I'd love to try to do some more gaming with Doc and his bunch out of Bossier. I had fun gaming with them at the con.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening. Those guys are really busy, and
Yeah, they've got their own thing.
they're having to drive people away from their regular table. I know you're talking about
Really?
doing something special, but
Yeah.
oh yeah, I think their home group is always too big, and it's kind of.
Wow.
I was talking to Garrett the other day, and he was saying it's like the National Guard or whatever. It's like somebody's got to die for you to get promoted in.
Well, there you go. Well, I mean, then they're doing something right. So yeah. But I know running a game for Doc and other people or whatever from
Scott.
their group,
I'm
Scott.
trying
Yeah.
to think, was it Christopher that was in that one with you, or no? I'm
And
trying to-
Christopher, but he's not part of their group,
Nah, I
is
don't
he?
think
Yeah.
so. But that was a new friend that we made, and I think he's from the Texas side too.
Yeah, he's from over here close by. I was like, what the? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how we find more of our Texas folks over in Shreveport sometimes.
But isn't that like Alan McCoy? He's from
Yep.
Texas. I thought he was from over that part of the world. So it's ironic that we met Texas players at our Louisiana.
And we get more Shreveporters at Long Con than we would get at Red River.
But and I hate to tell this on myself, one of the things that I think originally had you kind of needling at me for us to do a con was you were like, you've helped run a con before, the old BroCons. We run BroCon in 2005, 6, and 7. But the other day I really sat down and started thinking back, and actually there were very few locals at them. There were people that would come in from, it's far-flung places like Michigan. We had people from all over the Yeomanry. Remember, the Yeomanry was
Living
Alabama.
Greyhawk.
Yeah, Living Greyhawk. It was Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas. Seems like I'm forgetting something. But, yeah. So you figure we had people coming from like Alabama, Mississippi, and we had a lot of Texans coming over because they could play Yeomanry mods that they can't normally play. So we'd get half the people were Texans. So now that I think about it, there really weren't that many locals supporting BroCon, which was in Bossier.
But that's one of the other ones I guess we kind of have to be a spiritual successor of. With NTRPG is the one that really spun us off, but I know BroCon, in a way, had a lot of influence on us, and especially you.
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot of things about running a con there.
Yeah, if you'd never done BroCon, I don't know if we would have had the confidence to move on.
I wouldn't have had the chutzpah, the moxie.
Because it's extremely difficult to run your own con, don't try.
Yeah, exactly. I love somebody at Red River's like, I could do this. And I just laughed, and I was like, good luck with that, son.
Yeah, if you want to do it for no money, that's the thing. You got to have the love of the game.
Yeah, that's us. I've grown up playing board games, role-playing games, whatever. I love games and gaming. And I know you do too. And so, and it's kind of giving back and blah, blah, blah. But,
well, the most fun I have is when I do like a road crew game for Goodman Games, DCC, MCC, or something like, or a pickup game at Geek World, and somebody says, thanks, this was my first game ever, and I loved it.
Yeah, you ran for a father and son, or a dad and its daughter, and maybe the daughter's friend. And I know that was, you just thought that was awesome.
Yeah, if you can get somebody into the hobby, man, that's just the creme de la creme.
You were like so tickled with the experience. You gave them some dice or something.
Yeah, I bought them their first set of dice.
Yeah, but yeah, how good does that feel? You helped usher them into what might be a very fulfilling hobby, and then a way for that father-daughter interaction or whatever. I'm envious. I've tried to get my kids to game, and it's just they
no
want to play handheld games, not their interest. But I wish that's something I could share the hobby with them. Yeah. So anyway,
well, before we completely get off of the Red River,
you keep coming back to it.
well, I have to. We didn't talk about Frog God Games.
Oh, well, and we were remiss. So talking about people that were very passionate with us or grabbing my lapels, I mean, the story's kind of funny, not funny. So we were planning on kind of dropping the bomb at the end of the raffle at Red River, and so we were
Which
literally,
would be about Saturday at 7.
yeah. So we're down to the wire. Eddie's coming to me going, "Hey, come on, let's get in character. We've eaten. Let's grab the prize table, drag it in there, start spinning the tickets." And we're just fixing to do that. And so I leaned back away to do something, and Mike with Frog God had grabbed Eddie, like, well, then Eddie goes, you got to hear this. You got to stop what you're doing right now.
You don't have to talk me into doing another con. And
Yeah.
for me, the cons are my babies.
Mm-hmm.
For having to try and put a bullet in one of them's head, take old Yeller out back. I hate it. Because it's like any idea that I've ever had is a great idea, of course, in my mind. So I don't want either of those to ever go away, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept reality.
So here's Bad Mike leaning across the table, and he goes, "Hey, this one tells me that you guys are thinking about,
Well, we're gonna kill it.
you're going to kill it." And I looked at him and with my look and went, "Hey, yeah." And he goes, "You can't do that. You got to keep doing it." And I said, "I ain't got to do nothing, whatever." He's like, "No, you understand. You understand." And I don't know if I should mention figures.
I wouldn't go specific just because.
But yeah.
Catch us privately and we will.
But they made a significant amount of money only being at their table half the time. I'm picking on them, but anyway, so they had a really good time and they made some money. So they're like, "You need to keep doing this," So that's kind of one of the many reasons why we're like, well, are you tied to Shreveport Bossier, or are you tied to the timing? And they're like, well, no, it's really more about the timing. So we're like, well, here's a happy compromise, maybe, so.
So we're picking up a sponsorship from them, which again, I won't go into specifics here, but because hopefully we'll hold them up for some more at the last minute, like the hotel tried to do to us.
Yeah, they're gonna offset some costs. They're gonna run some games. They're gonna help promote us. That was what I heard.
Yeah, probably some products for the raffle.
They've given us a significant amount of product already for raffle. I mean, they were incredibly generous. I cannot say. Yeah, thank you, Frog God Games, and they're just really nice guys. We've known Bad Mike sorta. I mean, we went to the con early on.
Well, Zach, I think, is one of the first people that I gamed with at NTRPG.
Yeah,
way back when.
But so we like Zach. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. We like Mike. We've got to know him through the last few years better, and we got to meet Bill Webb, and we met Pex.
Yeah, which is John Barnhouse, I think.
I think so, and he was really cool. I like him too. I mean, they're just all a great bunch, much fun bunch of guys, and so I could think of worse people to be in cahoots with,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a two-way street there. We're helping them out, and they're helping us out, and that's why there is a spring con.
Yeah, if you like the idea of 2 long cons, you can thank Frog God Games. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, for sure. Because I don't think that's something we would have done. We would have hated for Red River to go away, but I don't think we would have continued on with 2 conventions. And we'll see how that goes over.
Yeah, and I know people have had the clever idea, but again, give us some credit. A lot of the things that people keep the suggestions coming by all means, but some of those are things that we've already thought of and vetted, and people are, why don't you do one in Tyler? Well,
we're not ruling it out yet.
We're not ruling it out, but for now, let's see how 2 cons go in this neck of the woods.
Well, Long Con, Spring Con is 99% locked in, but it's not 100% locked in. We have to explore the Tyler a little bit.
Ink's not on paper yet, for Long Con 2 in Longview. And don't get me wrong, we love Tyler, and Tyler
loves us.
They like our stuff,
And we've already mentioned him, but Geek World over there with Mark, he is a fantastic person to work with. He gives us so much support and so much support to the local gaming community.
And he's given us some good ideas even, I'll say.
He's great. I can't say enough good things about him.
I want to kiss on him.
Yeah. Well, if I could move one of the friendly local game shops over here.
Yeah.
If I could put him on the, end of my street, I'd love it.
We need like Geek World East over here. I would be there every day spending my monies. But anyway, yeah. And even say what you will. I mean, I've had some dealings with Ground Zero. They seem pretty cool. I like them.
Yeah,
They're
can't.
all right.
Yeah, exactly.
But but Mark. Yeah, we love Mark. So yeah, but yeah, Tyler. I mean, obviously can support multiple game stores. They do. We know there's gamers there. It's just a neat town, though.
Yeah. Well, all those guys come over, so I don't know if we would get more people over there. And I know our local Longview crew is like, have 2 in Longview.
Yeah. Well, and one thing, and this is also a thought in my mind, was if we had it in Longview, is the people of Shreveport have already proven the ones that we could connect with are willing to make that short drive over to
Mm-hmm.
Longview. And again, now we've got some Tylerites that are like, Longview's not far. They make that short drive. So it's kind of a nice happy medium. It,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's kind of the perfect spot between Dallas and Shreveport
Yeah. Yeah.
to catch all points in between.
Yes, indeed. Because we have Dallas folks that are willing to make the drive to Longview, but just aren't willing to go to Shreveport, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that.
Well, it seems like all we got to talk about this week was Red River, but that's the real point of this one. Hopefully, we will get you another podcast coming at you very shortly. Maybe we'll pick it up again next week.
Yeah. Definitely. If you got any feedback, ideas, pointers, you know, in reference to Long Con 2 or, you know.
Long Con Spring.
Right. Exactly. Or ideas for the podcast, sound off.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. We're out of here. Have a great one.
Later, taters.